Hello and welcome to my fourth set of literature critiques. This week I read 8 books and my featured text was The Relatives Came. Let's get started. The Relatives Came was written by Cynthia Rylant and illustrated by Stephen Gammell. It is about relatives who come up from Virginia for the summer to visit the narrator's family. The story tells about the relatives' trip and how happy everyone was once they arrived. There were so many hugs. The narrator tells about what it was like to have the relatives visit. In the end, the relatives returned to Virginia, already looking forward to next summer when they can visit again. I chose this book as my featured text because it is a great book to use with younger students across the curriculum. It is lighthearted and beautifully illustrated as well. One way to use The Relatives Came in social studies is by connecting it to maps. Students can be asked to create a tour using Google Tour Builder. Their tour will be of the route they think the relatives took to reach the family for the summer visit. The book never specifies where the family lives, so students should be encouraged to use context clues to decide on this location. Then students can decide which points to highlight along the route as stops on the tour. Here's my example tour. This is the beginning, and then you can see I have pictures included and little descriptions for each stop. My example tour was designed for second grade students. At this grade level, I would expect students to have descriptions of each stop that use the symbols on the map and their knowledge of maps to tell the viewer about the trip and the various areas. If you were doing this project with older grades or with gifted students, it might also be expected that students research the areas and provide more information about each place. These students might also be asked to include videos rather than only pictures. After creating these tours, students can create a thing link to connect The Relatives Came to math. In second grade, students learn to compare 3-digit numbers using the greater than, equal to, and less than symbols. In this lesson, I would ask students to make a thing link, the tool you see here, about comparing 3-digit numbers using these symbols. The thing link would include a link to the tour they built. So in my example, it's here, and if we click on it, we see that it takes me directly to the tour. It should also prompt viewers to compare the distances between stops in the tour. So for example, I have a number of different pictures of parts of the route I made for my tour and questions to go along with it. So there are 4 on my thing link. Then students can be asked to include other items such as games and videos. So here I have an example of a video and a game included in my thing link. Then, once these are made, students can be asked to view each other's thing links, see their classmates' tours, and practice comparing those numbers, practice actually solving the problems that their peers wrote. These thing links can also be shared with a wider audience outside of the classroom. They can be shared with other classes as well as parents or other teachers in the building. The link is easy to share. Here are the 7 other books I read this week. The War That Saved My Life is about a girl named Ada who has clubfoot. Her mother is ashamed of her and never lets her leave the apartment. When World War II breaks out, she takes this opportunity to run away to the countryside because all of the children are being shipped from London to the country to prevent them from being hurt by bombings. In the countryside, Ada learns about her dignity and worth. Grandfather's Journey is about the author's grandfather and how he traveled between Japan and the United States. He loved both places dearly, and whenever he was in one, he missed the other. 26 Fairmount Avenue is an autobiography, and the author tells about his young life and how his family was building a new house when he was starting kindergarten. Locomotive is an informational book about the Transcontinental Railroad. It covers many topics about this railroad, including steam power, how the train traveled, and where it passed through. It presents all of this information to the reader as if the reader is taking a trip themselves, from Omaha to Sacramento. The Rooster Crows is a book of traditional American rhymes and jingles. It's a lot of fun and really brings back a lot of those games that children play. Drummer Hoff is also based on a traditional story. In this book, many people are contributing to the firing off of a cannon, but in the end, it's Drummer Hoff who fires it off. In Sleep Like a Tiger, a little girl is not ready to go to bed, but she gets ready anyway because that's what her parents want. Her parents tell her that all things need to sleep. She learns about how different animals sleep, and then her sleeping is compared to those different animals. These are all the books I've read this week, and I would recommend them all. Thank you for watching my video.